everybody, to the Florence Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. My name is Sally, and it's so good to see you all here today. We started the service today by offering our gratitude to the first people of the Florence area, the Saisla Indians. We stand on the land that they created for us, and we give thanks to the Saisla Indians, past, present, and future. We are blessed to be here on this land. So we're going to open our service today. Tubi is going to be singing Spirit of Life, leading us in that music. So rise as if you are able. The words are in the program. If you don't know the tune, just follow along and enjoy the music. Spirit of Life. Are there any guests here today for the first time? Anybody here for the first time you'd like to stand, or have somebody? Jean, who have you got there with you? Is this a friend of yours, or?
Very, yeah.
Who would you like to introduce your friend?
I finally dragged her here.
Okay, fine.
Because of her.
Okay. And your name is?
Connie Chufo.
Hello, Connie. Good to meet you.
Another Italian.
Another Italian. How many Italians in the room? Okay. So welcome to our fellowship. I want to give you our welcome gift.
Oh.
It is a little book called Windows to the Spirit.
Okay.
And it's written by a local author who left us many, many copies. So we give them to folks who are here for the first time.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Anybody else here? I think everybody else I know. So that's a good thing. So on the right side of the program is a list of all of our upcoming events. So just briefly, this afternoon at 3 o'clock, we have Amara Grace, who will be here in concert at 3 o'clock today. You're welcome to join us. Dean Schrock going to be doing his counseling, and he's got his Body, Mind, Spirit, Health, and Wellness class. We're going to be hiking to Ocean Beach on Wednesday. We meet here at FOOF at 10 o'clock. We're in carpool if you'd like to join us. Course in Miracles with Ruth Miller. The board meeting will be at Food Share this Wednesday at 3:30. They're going to be meeting outside. What a wonderful venue. Can you pick food in the garden and take it home?
If you are a client.
That would be good. What did you say?
If you are a client of Food Share.
I can be a client. And then next week, next Friday, we have Starlight Cabaret with Jeff Lovejoy. I know Judy wants to talk about that in a minute. Is that right? Yes. And then the Power of Intention. Donna Smith will be with us next Sunday for her Sunday service, and then a class thereafter starting at 11:30. Bring your lunch if you'd like to, or if you prefer, go out for lunch afterwards, or if you're like me, both. And, so Judy, you want to talk a little bit about Starlight Cabaret?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Come on up to the mic.
Okay. We have not held one of these in a long, long time, so it's going to be exciting to do it again. It's going to be this Friday. Doors open at 6 o'clock. Concert starts at 6:30, go to about 7:30, a short intermission, and then another set ending between 8:30 and 9. You are welcome to bring your own beverage and glass. We ask that you don't bring food. We will ask that you be masked, and we truly hope that you will be vaccinated. It's tough times here. We know that the Delta variant is getting a little crazy on us, so we're trying to continue as many activities as we can in a safe manner. So let's be respectful of each other and just do our best to have a great time. Love offerings will be appreciated. They'll mostly go to the artist, who often makes a contribution back to Booth, but we do appreciate their time and talent in doing this and want to compensate them if we can. And just a heads up, in September, Mark Levy will be doing a special Starlight Cabaret that'll be songs of protest and social justice. So that'll be coming soon too.
Who's the Starlight Cabaret?
This one's Jeff Lovejoy.
Jeff Lovejoy on Friday. Also, if you bring a bottle of wine, until we get one, you might want to bring your own corkscrew or knife, box cutter, in case you bring box wine. Easy part is screw top, okay? So thank you for that, Judy. I really appreciate it. I want to go back to Donna Smith, who's here next week, and the class that she's giving is going to be a series of classes when she's with us on that third Sunday every month. This one is the Heart-Brain Coherence, and she's going to invite you to be here with the intention and purpose of raising our consciousness. She's done this in the past. This is going to be a little more formal, and I think it should be really, really good. So you don't have to RSVP. This is one of those that are complimentary on behalf of FOOF, and let's support Donna Smith. She's a really good person. Also, at the end of service today, Ruth Miller will be up front. If you would like to talk more about this service, Remembrance Sunday, or if you have something you'd like to share, please come forward, bring a chair, and we'll do a little half circle up front. That'll start about 11:15, okay? Catherine will be doing spiritual mind treatment in our library, if you'd like to speak privately with Catherine. And otherwise, everybody else, we invite you to go outside, enjoy the fresh air. The backyard will probably be open, so you're welcome to gather out back as well, okay? Are there any other announcements? Am I missing anything? Boy, this is pretty good. Thank you all again for being here. I'm going to invite Raymond to come forward. We're going to light our chalice. This is the way we start our service every Sunday. These words come to us from Mira Mikowitz. And it goes like this. We light this chalice, which transforms wax into pure light and warmth, to remind us of our own living, transforming the stuff of this world into the love and activity of our daily lives. As we remember those who are no longer with us in this bodily form, may today bring forth transformation in ourselves, from grief, healing, from memory, wholeness, and from celebration, love. Blessed be. I invite Catherine to come forward. She's going to lead us in our joys and concerns. And when that is complete, we will have Reverend Ruth Miller up here and begin our service. Would you, could you lower that podium in front of you? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is the part of our service for joys and concerns. We remember why we gather, for community, for friendship, for comfort, for the peace of mind of being heard and seen. We remind each other that we are never alone. If there's anyone who would like to share as I drop a shell for each intention into the cleansing water, please come up. Are we using the regular little microphone?
Yes, and it's underneath.
Okay.
I'd be glad to help.
Okay. Thank you, Sally. Anyone today?
Anyone like to share a joy or a concern? Judy will.
So Ray and I have been attempting to plan a trip to France for October of this year with my two sisters. So Ray and the three Flipko sisters, he'll help on. It has been, of course, the roller coaster of the world. Can we go? Can't we go? Will they let us in? Won't they? Will they honor our card? It's really good news today. I found an article that France is going to be requiring a health pass to get into anything. And you have to show you're vaccinated, and then you get this code that you show on your thing, and you get to come in. But they didn't say how we could do it, because we can't be in the French medical system. So today there was an article that told us how to do it. So it looks like we're going to be able to do it. We're going to have our code, we're going to get in, and it's going to be safe and happy. So it just went up about 25% the chances that this will really happen. So that's my job.
Michelle for Colin and one for Marcia. So I have a concern. Colin is not doing very well at all. He's not able to lift a fork to his mouth. He's not able to walk very far. And what I'm asking from you, is he's at peace. He knows that he is making his transition to the next experience. And what I would like to ask for is for peace. Peace. Mostly for Marcia. Thank you.
She dropped.
I did.
So my friend Ginny Schwerin, I can't pronounce her last name, passed away suddenly yesterday, and she was 87, and she'd had some health problems. And I would like prayers for her partner, Lily. Lily is older and also has health problems, and she's just in a state of total shock. This came so unexpectedly. And prayers for all of the older women couples that have either lost partners or are, you know, preparing for that. So, thank you.
Anyone else? I drop the final few shells for those we don't know about, too shy to come forward, too hurt to say the words aloud. And those whose voices we remember, though they may not speak to us in person anymore. We include you in our circle of love now and always. I'll end with this Chinese proverb. If you want happiness for an hour, take a nap. If you want happiness for a day, go fishing. Okay, Dean. But it was in this Chinese proverb. If you want happiness for a year, inherit some money. If you want happiness for a lifetime, help someone else every day. Helping someone else within your reach is an intimate act. Blessed be.
Thank you, Catherine. I'm happy to take care of that little issue. Oh, you guys are marvelous. I always feel so special.
And tall.
Well, it means I can see you all, which is very nice. Is this a good place for the mic?
Yeah, that's
All
what.
right. I won't be up here very long, but hi. My goodness. We decided that today was an appropriate time to look back over the last 18 months. The program committee asked me to help us actually address the losses that many of us have experienced during this time. I almost called Don to say, please bring us a picture of Don so we could include him in this. So he's up there too. Don Evans up there too. So many things have happened in the last year and a half. And some of them have been fabulous, improvements and enhancements in our lives. And some of them, and even the improvements, have involved some kind of a loss. And loss is an interesting thing. The sense of being separated from is part of being human. It's not part of being spiritual, but it's part of being human. And so a huge part of our lives as human beings is to begin to move through that sense of being separated into a realization of oneness and connectedness through love and as love. Yeah. So, because the human experience is one that says, what I cared for isn't here now, we go through a process that we call grief. And if you've been part of FOO for any length of time, you've been aware that we've done a couple of workshops to help people recognize what Nin has defined as, I think we're up to 24 stages in the grief process. Yeah, it's not just 5. And it's not a straight line. It's like all living processes. It's a sine wave. It's an up and down process. And the first few days, weeks, months can be real intense. But over time, it moves to a higher and higher and gentler level. We never fully, completely let go of that sense of, are you cut off from? As long as we're in our bodies. It's only when we move on from these bodies into whatever is next that that new realization of total connection becomes our experience. And so what I'd like us to do today, several people brought things to put up here, and as I said, some of us didn't actually bring things, so imagine that there's something up there that is a reminder to you of that person, sometimes four-legged, who is no longer a part of your world and you weren't able, in most cases, to do any kind of remembrance ceremony because of the COVID shutdown. And that's why we chose to do this at the end of this 18 months. We were hoping that we would all be able to continue to gather for the rest of our experience on this earth, and that we'd be able to continue to honor people as we are separated, as we feel that loss. And then celebrate them. Yes? Celebrate their presence in our lives, not only in physical form, but in the form they remain in following their passing. Because almost all of us, at the very least, can touch in with memories of the joyful moments. And many of us are able to touch into that awareness that that love that was between us always is present and continues regardless. Yeah. You may have seen a couple of books out there about how love is stronger than death. And that's what we're talking about here. So when I do a celebration of life or a remembrance ceremony, my process is to have a main candle, and that's for all the ones that are expressed or unexpressed. And then invite each person to light a small candle for the person that they're remembering today. And give us a short, unfortunately too short today, we've got about half an hour, a short something that says, that highlights what the nature of the connection between you was. And I will model that as we go forward. Are you ready? Yes. Thank you. I'm going to have to put this on because we're going to be interacting.
The handheld mic is underneath you.
Not anymore.
Oh, it's over. We will.
Thank you, Ray. Step 1. Assuming this will work. We light a candle for all those who have passed on from this plane or moved on to a whole different way of being during this last 18 months while we've been separated in COVID. Success. All right, so I brought in a book. There?
Not yet.
Push it.
Yes?
Yes.
Good, I'm pleased. So I brought in a book. This book is published by the little publishing company that I'm part of. It's called Views from the Pew. I pulled this one from our library because we donated it to the library years ago. It was written, it was launched by a woman that I knew as Jessie Hedigo. Here she's J.C. Hedigo. And it includes the stories of half a dozen to a dozen women and who are no longer members or part of a traditional church. And it explains why for each of them. It's their own stories. And Jessie was a remarkable woman who I met in Newport. She lived in the little house next door to, Goody's Hotel. Thank you, Sylvia Beach Hotel, thank you. And she and Goody got to be really good friends. I've known Goody back in Portland, so we all got to be good friends. And she wrote obituaries for Newport. And she went on to write other things. And this was really the first thing that she had published. So my last conversation with her was on my way back from Europe. She was on the East Coast, I was on the West Coast. It was 6 in the morning. She was the only one I could call. So I called her and checked in with her and told her about my trip. She had always imagined or seen me. I'd shared with her a dream I'd had one time, and she always saw me riding on a Vespa in Europe. Which is exactly what I did to tour Rome. I rode on the back of a Vespa. Heartily recommend it. I spoke with her in November. I tried to send her royalty check in February. I finally heard back in April that she had passed on. So Jessie is no longer in the world with her incredibly amazing head of Afro-style red hair, her deep Virginia accent, her amazing New York approach to life from rural Ohio. She was intended to be a light worker who spent the last few years of her life just moving from home to home, taking care of other people's animals and writing. So Jessie is very much alive in my awareness. And every time I think of the book, I think of her, I know that she is touching all of our lives in a wonderful, loving way. So I will light a candle for Jessie. And now it's someone else's turn.
Thank you. Is this on?
Yep.
Love being back. I couldn't do this part. I got my bin of photos out, and I got my computer, and I started looking at all the photos, and I had a total meltdown, so I couldn't get any further. But you understand that. I have lost in the last year my little brother and 2 nephews, and so I was looking for pictures. My brother and 1 nephew sort of grew up together because they were very close in the same age. My nephew, 1 was had an outdoor service in Tennessee. The other one had an outdoor service in California recently. My younger brother, my sister-in-law is going to have a service for him on his birthday, October 8th, in Sacramento, California, and I will be there one way or the other for that. But anyway, and of course this reminds me of my own profound loss of my husband, and he touched each of their lives, because that's the kind of person he was. When he became a part of my life, he became a part of their life. And they all looked up to him as a big brother and father figure. And the only other thing I want to say is all of their deaths were not COVID related specifically, even though my brother was diagnosed with COVID, but then he tested positive as he was going through his own cancer. He tested negative finally. But they were all alcohol related. And the statistic I read lately is about the other epidemic we have in this country. And I don't know if it was last year or the year before, there were 88,000 deaths in this country related to just alcoholism. And it's one of those epidemics that we don't talk about maybe enough, we don't treat enough, I don't know. But it is devastating for the families, and I would dare say if I asked you to raise your hands, so many of you would be related to or know someone in your life who has this addiction. So anyway, I will just light one candle for all three of them.
Thank you so much, Lynn.
Maya isn't with us today, but I wanted to light a candle for Glenn Hanko, who passed in last April, and he was a member of this congregation. He was a friend, personally, and he was also a neighbor and a really good guy, and he's very much missed.
Hi. I mentioned Barbara and Joys and Concerns a couple of times. She didn't die from COVID, but from COPD. She was an amazing force. She was a gourmet cook. She fed us all at Esalen many years ago when we were all there, and continued on with catering. And she was just so bright and so much energy. And I miss her very much.
This last year, I lost my younger brother. He's a very kind and strong person. Although he didn't live as long as I have, he had more wisdom than I do. All the kids in the neighborhood called him Uncle Pops.
Uncle Pops?
Uncle Pops. In black culture, at least in California, moms and pops are mom and dad. And so he was Uncle Pops. And he'll be missed by a lot of people. His funeral was really well attended, and he touched a lot of people. His life was just cut short. I also had a younger sister who's not with us either. She didn't pass last year, but she passed before that. And so there's me, and I have one brother left. So he's younger as well. Hopefully he'll last a little longer. But I loved him a lot, as did many other people. And he's just left a part in me that can't be true. Just can't. So I'm still mourning, and it'll be for a while. But it's so anyway, that's my story.
Thank you so much. I just had a reading against so it wouldn't fall over too far. Thank you. Oh, right at that handle.
Oh.
So we're going to leave these candles burning until they burn themselves out today.
bud?
We'll give it a shot.
All right.
I was one of the lucky folks.
Microphone.
I was one of the lucky folks. We had a celebration of Judy's life here at Booth in July. The timing was good. Judy and I were married for 54 years.
Wow.
We had a wonderful life. We traveled extensively in Europe. When we were younger, we went to all the islands and played on the beaches. We had 2 great daughters and 2 great grandsons. And Judy was an extraordinary woman. She started out as a second grade teacher. She became an assistant head of school, and then she became head of school. And when she passed, there was so many people who reached out and expressed their love for what she had done for them, their children, for her co-workers. It was quite an honor. Would you like?
Yes, I can start one on this side.
I first met Jennifer 20 years ago, and shortly after we met, she had a dinner with her father, and she was afraid to come out to him for fear of what he would say. And he gave her a big hug and said, "Got it, love you, can't wait to meet her." And it was about 3 or 4 weeks later, I was invited to join the whole family for dinner at the spaghetti factory in Denver. Got to meet her father and her mother, they were both divorced from each other, but they still got together with the family. I got to meet her 2 kids, her 1 grandkid, her 2 sisters, her 2 brothers-in-law, and the other niece. I got to meet the whole family at the spaghetti factory. And that was my first meeting of Ted Pratt. Ted passed away last month, just shy of his 100th birthday. I know, and he was quite a remarkable man, and when I see Jennifer and when she behaves in such a way, I say to her, "Okay, Ted, you've asked enough questions, now can we just get to some things? Now let's just do something." She's always asking questions. That's like Ted, that's Ted. He's just always asking questions. Anyway, he will be having a service in Fort Collins later this month. We will not be able to go there. Jennifer, number one, we don't like the altitude anymore, not gonna do it. And it's just too risky to fly at this point, so we're going to stay home. We really appreciate this program committee, Ruth Miller, for putting this on today. What a remarkable opportunity to have an opportunity to share publicly, privately with my best friends, my foofers. I so admire each one of you. I know we've been through a lot over the last 10, 15 years, especially this last year and a half, and we're still here, right? We're going to lose friends, we're going to lose relatives, but we'll always be right here for you when you need us. So this candle is for Ted, and yeah, that's all I have to say.
Well, I was blessed for almost 55 years to share the love and companionship that I had with my wife, Donna, who passed away a year ago, April, from Alzheimer's, and the amazing thing about her passing was, even though this was the very beginning of the total lockdown, the management at Spruce Point allowed me to see her and be with her the last 5 days of her life. And I was there at her passing. And I'm also blessed in the fact that she was an accomplished artist, and so I have many of her paintings and other works of artistic expression at my home. I asked a friend one time, have I made this place into a museum? And she said, no, it looks very appropriate to me. So I just want to honor her memory and share this little secret with you. I wear her ring every day close to my heart.
So, really good stories about lots of long love. I'm terrible at this. This is for Laura, who died at 35. Laura was, engaged to my nephew Brett for 2 months when she was diagnosed with stomach cancer. But boy, they lived in those 2 years that she had left. They went to Japan, they went to South America. She came out here. I got to spend time with her here. She loved the Oregon coast. She went to school at OSU. So some of her ashes will be scattered out here. And life moves on. Brett's found someone new. So this is for Laura.
I first met my husband, Bruce McKibben, in a plywood mill. He was a heister driver and I was a dryer feeder. The first thing he said to me was, "Can I charge your dryer?" And I said, "Yes, you can." And one thing led to the other, and we became married. We were married for 44 years. He capsized his boat out here at the Siaslaw River Bar 3 years and 2 days ago. He was a teacher here in Florence for 25 years. He lasted as long as he could in the education field. And he was loved by many people. We had a memorial service for him out at Wahink. 250 people showed up. I got 301 sympathy cards, a few from people I didn't even recall. And I miss him. People approach me all the time about him in town. I had to call a guy to come out and pump my septic tank recently. First time I've ever called anybody to do that, because Bruce used to take care of the waste at our house. The kid said to me, "Oh, I know exactly where your septic tank is. I pumped it for Mr. McKibben before." He said, "There'll be no charge for digging it up today. Mr. McKibben used to like to dig it up himself, but I'll do it for you, no charge." He said, by the time I got to 3rd grade, I couldn't read. So I was assigned to Mr. McKibben because he was the person that taught kids that weren't reading to read by the time they were 3rd grade. He said he called me into his room, he sat me down, he said, "Scott, do you want to learn how to read?" And Scott said, "Oh yes, I want to learn how to read." He said, so Mr. McKibben got out of his chair, did a cartwheel, sat back down in his chair, and he said, "Well, don't worry about a thing, I can teach anybody to read, I'm really good." So he was also an atheist. One of the first things I did when he died was come here to be with all you beautiful people. So I'm going to light 2 candles for him today, just because I know it would really make him pissed.
Is that page 25 of the 24?
There's one! Here's 2 to Mr. McKibben.
That's interesting, because when you said that last word, I was seeing him turning cartwheels.
No. You mentioned me in a sanctuary?
I got it.
Thank you, my dear, that was lovely. What a nice break too, eh?
Yeah.
All right, is there anyone else who would like to express or share or like? Connie, come on out. You didn't even know this was going to happen today. And now what?
Oh, I had a few hours this morning. Good morning.
Good morning,
Connie. I'm Connie. And just bringing greetings down from, I guess, from Newport area to all of you. I want to mention the passing of Rick de Blasio. He was the pianist, musician, great friend to everybody at Ocean Unity for a number of years. He passed last year.
The piano bar at Italian Riviera.
Yes, Rick.
And he was our pianist in Glen Eden Beach at my church there. And then when that fell apart after I left, he moved on and was the pianist for Ocean Unity. And he was amazing.
Yes. He said to me, well, I wasn't sure because I was the one that would pick out after our minister had left and moved on, came to me to work with him to pick out the music for the Sunday services. And he said, I wasn't real sure how we were going to get along. You know, he said, you always seem so serious. You know, a lot of people have an impression of me when they first meet me, but I'm not always serious, right, Gene?
Right.
But anyhow, Rick was a marvelous person, and we had a lot of laughs, a lot of fun together. And I kept trying to infuse a little, I knew he loved jazz, you know, and so I kept saying, just change the tempo, you know. Let's get him moving in the chairs for crying out loud. You know, get some life back in all of them. So, and so anyhow, he passed on and left a beautiful family behind. And then also Sue Martin, I don't know if any of you knew her. She was an avid student of Course in Miracles and taught that up in the Newport area for a number of years. And was just, what can I say, a role model. I watched her, I don't know how many years she went through dialysis, but she was, you know, a valiant warrior. So on a personal level, I didn't lose anyone from COVID. Thank you, it was a blessing this year. But I have had several people in my family that did experience that, and my one granddaughter in Florida, her partner was hospitalized for quite a while in that. But also on the other side of that was they also were able to work with him on his PSTD, you know, from being in the military and all. So on everything that looks, you know, look beyond appearances, that's what we're all learning. So there's a blessing there. So thank you. Oh, light a little candle. Yeah. You want her more? For Rick. Yeah. My buddy Rick. I'm getting new glasses this week, so it's like, you know, burn yourself. Yeah, she came with us. I would have been on. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. program committee was smart to create this, don't you?
Yes.
Thank you all. And so, as we say at the end of Joys and Concerns, not all senses of loss or separation can be expressed in public. And we recognize that there are many experiences in this room and around, in our lives. And so, let's just take a moment. Then we're going to go into quiet, and Ray is going to start some music here in a moment, one of Jeff's wonderful pieces. And we're going to allow ourselves to bring those awareness, the awareness of those people, two-legged, four-legged, all kinds, bring them into our awareness and feel their love and feel the connection. And then we're going to, as the music continues, allow them to move into their new beingness. Thank you. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Jay. Thank you all. I'm so glad we were able to do this.
Wow, the musical interlude at the end there that was good. I was living through a video clip of all the memories I had of Jennifer's dad. It's just like, they were just like, I couldn't stop it. It was just wonderful. So thank you for that. And thank you for Jeff Lovejoy. He provides us with these wonderful music pieces that we play electronically, because we can't be here in person with all the music all the time. But thank you, Jeff, if you're watching. And for those watching at home, too, I hope that you have enjoyed this and appreciated what Ruth has brought forth. Maybe take a pause in the taping of this and remember the people in your life that are special, and then come back and join us. So thank you. So this is a time when we get to honor our particular church and our community partner. This is our offering, and it's an opportunity to practice your spiritual practice of giving. We have an opportunity to give to this particular fellowship so we can continue our ministries and keep our doors open. And we do look forward to our renovation, so that also helps. And also we have a community partner, which is food backpacks for kids. And I'm going to invite Tuvia to come forward. He's got a special message to talk about, well, actually, all of our community partners. Tuvia.
Wow, this has been quite a morning. We, as foofers, have big hearts. And we are right in the middle of a beautiful city, Florence, that is the heart of our community. We are connected to some of the nicest folks, and we make efforts to support the heart and soul of Florence. Faces light up with teary-eyed smiles when presented with a financial infusion from foofers, from you and me and Sally and all of us. Their greatest joy is the satisfaction of passing our care along, giving back, and having the back of the very young, the elderly, the most fragile and vulnerable citizens receiving the nurturing care that they need. So I've been trying to get some clips of the reactions of these community leaders as they receive these checks, and we're going to try to put them together and put them on the website so that you can see what is happening to the donations that you so lovingly give. A single act of kindness throws our roots in all directions, and the roots spring up and make new trees. So said Amelia Earhart. Kindness is that language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. So said Mark Twain. And the CEO and president of the United Nations Foundation, Kathy Calvin, declared, giving is not just about making a donation, it's about making a difference. And as you give, you know what that means.
Nicely done.
That's wonderful. Wonderful reminder, Tuvia. So we ask that you consider a donation to this particular fellowship. And as we pass the basket, I'm going to ask Catherine on this side and maybe Judy on this side, if you'll help. Here is our FOOF donation, and here is the donation for backpacks for kids, nestled nicely and neatly inside. And as we begin this offering, I ask that you repeat after me. Divine love through me.
Divine love through me.
Blesses and multiplies all that I am.
Blesses and multiplies all that I am.
All that I give.
All that I give.
And all that I receive.
And all that I receive.
I am prosperous now.
I am prosperous now.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Ray's going to play some music that Jeff has provided for us. It's either Joyous Bells or whatever else he can find. So enjoy the music. Imagine you're enjoying the music. Anybody want to hum along?
You
I
want?
wanna be ready to walk in.
Okay, you bet try. Sorry. Ready?
In sweet fields of autumn, the gold rain is falling, the white clouds drift rolling, the wild swan is calling. As for the daisies, the tall fern and grasses, when sweep and rainfall to lowlands and passes. Snows of December, windy fall, the deep rain trails after, and March wind shall follow. Clear through the valleys, the print of their going, and islands of sleep are the bridges of snowing. Stillness of death shells over the water, the ogres weep low where the pale stream is altered. Deep in the earth clod the black seed is dipping, where spring sounds her bugles arousing the dew. Sweet fields of autumn, the gold rain is falling, the white clouds drift rolling, the wild swan is calling.
That's lovely. For those of you who are listening at home, I also want to encourage you to make a donation. You can visit our FOOF website and click on the donate button. You can make a contribution to FOOF and or our community partner. All those donations will be appreciated. So we receive these gifts in grateful appreciation. Thank you. So I invite Raymond to come forward. We're going to extinguish our chalice. These words come from Brian Keeley, titled Carry the Flame. The chalice is now being extinguished, but its light lives on in the minds and hearts and soul of each one of you. Carry that flame with you as you leave this place and share it with those you know, with those you love, and most especially with those you have yet to meet. So I invite two of you to come back up, and I invite you to gather in a big circle. Hold hands if you want to. Please ask permission first. Don't be offended if someone says no. We're going to go in a big circle. Two of you is going to sing the peace song with us. The words are on the back. Please enjoy. And afterwards, remember, we've got Reverend Ruth Miller will be up front. We'll gather some circles around if you want to talk further about her message. Catherine will be available in the library. So, two of you, take it away.
Be my